It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Can't believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
So we learned Wednesday morning that Jeff Bezos has a $10 million budget for his wedding. So we thought, all right, we're not nearly ballers like that. But who got by on a whole lot less? Like you had a very economical wedding and you were very happy with it. Some very interesting stories coming up in a very fun podcast. Here we go. What do you hate with a passion? If you take politics out of the mix, is there one thing you can deduct that you hate with a passion, Kat?
Well, I don't hate politics. I think there are a lot of good things that can come from moves by politicians. I just hate how people can get when it comes to politics. But, all right, I got 5.
Jesus.
I hate when people feel like it's an embarrassing thing to tell you you might have something in your teeth or a bat in the cave. Like, I have had that happen a little bit too often lately. And I'm like, are these my real friends? You know, and even Liam the other day, I had a huge piece of cilantro in my teeth and didn't even tell me.
Sometimes it's funnier to watch people.
He goes, yeah, I saw it a while ago. And I go, you're not a friend, you know, like you should have told me. Next one. I hate selling anything on Facebook Marketplace. I think I'm done for now. It's the worst. People are the worst. They say, sure, I'll be there. And then they never show up. You got to get it together. The way that the Julia Roberts movie ended, Leave the World Behind, I hate that. Okay. Worst ending to a movie. I hate that people feel the need to threaten their kids out loud in public. Like, oh, just wait until we get home. I'm going to whoop you. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the trashiest thing I've ever experienced. And then finally, and most important, I hate anything with a wafer, any candy with a wafer.
You hate a Kit Kat?
I hate Kit Kats. Yes. Anything with like that goes all over my tongue. Hate it.
It's a wide variety of stuff. Peyton, what do you hate with a passion?
People who don't know how to drive in the winter but go out anyway.
Yeah.
And you would think our region, they would know by now, but they might be transplants. You never know.
Well, and some people, you got to remember, yeah, right, they'd never seen snow before, and then all of a sudden, boom, they don't know how to work things. Lisa, what do you hate with a passion? No politics.
Being sick, because I am sick.
That's the worst. Kat and I both had it this year for, 6 weeks? It seemed like you had a cough or something like that. People are getting very, very particular on Facebook. One of my favorite answers, cotton balls.
Yep. Okay.
Windy weather.
Connie says, I hate vegetables. Connie, I can't get enough. I love Brussels sprouts. I love red onions. I love a good spaghetti squash. Onika, I hate being late, and I hate people when they are late. Yes.
Suzanne, rude people and beets.
Yeah.
Just beets. Never-ending sequels, mullets, frogs, and being shushed. I wanted to make sure I wasn't reading something dirty there. What is one thing you genuinely hate with a passion? No politics. Frank?
Mother-in-law.
Oh, stop
no.
it. Be nice.
I feel very bad for people that don't have good mother-in-laws or in-laws.
I'm really blessed.
Yeah.
So
same.
What do you hate with a passion? I thought I'd toss out the question this morning. What do you hate with a passion? No politics. But what do you hate with a passion? Some of my favorite answers coming online. Everybody, by the way, hates slow drivers. But how about this one? Very distinct things that Brian hates. Mm-hmm. Cilantro, Will Ferrell, and wages that haven't kept up with inflation, plus daylight savings time.
So speaking of cilantro, what is the percentage of people that have that DNA defect that cilantro tastes like soap?
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this
You
before.
haven't heard about it?
No.
Someone said stigma that pit bulls are killers. Nicole from Winona says, I hate people that feel entitled. They're very obvious.
Lori,
yes.
coffee, mustard, pickles, unseasoned food.
Oh, this one I can't stand when working customer service and somebody puts the money on the counter instead of handing it. That was Breeze.
You hate that with a passion,
It must happen often enough for her to
Some
note
people
that.
don't, and that's the weird part. If they're like, I don't want to touch someone else, you got to go, where do you think that money's been?
Yeah.
In somebody else's hands. Hi, Rye. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Great. Thanks for calling the show. What do you hate with a passion? No politics.
Victim mentality or Debbie Downers, you know, the kind that like every time you talk to them, it's, you know, something bad happened to them, but it's never their fault.
You should never be here for the first 30 minutes that we're in the studio because all we do is bitch about everything.
But then we shake it off and we're in a good mood. I don't think we have victim mentalities.
No,
we just
complain
moan about
everything.
Other people.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of people like that in your life or your work?
Not really. I mean, my dad always said that you can complain, but then once it becomes consistent, then you need to change and do something about it.
Right.
So the people that just constantly complain and don't do anything about it, that's the pet peeve.
Isn't that the definition of insanity, to keep going back to something knowing the outcome? You know, knowing that something is going to bother you and you keep doing it or going back to it. That's crazy.
When you vent but take no action. I agree.
Yeah.
That's pretty annoying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Real quick, have you heard about that, Gene, for the cilantro? Have you heard of anybody that has that where it tastes like soap?
I do know people that it tastes like soap. I don't. I like it.
So it's called.
Yeah, I do know people that it tastes like soap.
It's called OR6A2, and it's a gene cluster that affects actually a lot of people. And
I have never once heard of this.
Yeah, so gross.
So you have cilantro, you put it in whatever. I mean, what do you put it on, your chicken or whatever?
Or tacos, and it tastes like soap. Like you just sprinkled
What
soap.
kind of soap?
on
Irish
top.
Spring?
I don't know. Maybe cucumber melon.
And Ryan, you know several people.
I mean, yeah, but now I'm thinking, like, if they're ever out of cilantro and they're cooking Mexican food, they can just grab some soap.
Exactly.
Look at you. The pot is always
What a
half full.
solver.
We got to let you go because you're way too positive for our show. Have a great morning.
You too.
Take care. Hi, Marcia. What do you hate with a passion? No politics.
No politics. When you are checking out or whatever and people just like, oh my gosh, it's such a chore to have to wait on you, but that's their job. It's like, if you don't want to deal with people, go stock shelves at night.
Yep.
I worked a job when I was a junior in college at a retail place, and we had one of these guys who didn't mind doing most of the job, but when it came to customers checking out, he didn't mind stocking the shelves or facing the shelves and stuff like that. But, you'd hear the little ding, or you'd see somebody up front, and all they go, oh, God, I can't. I'm like, wait, they're spending money, so we have money. You know what I mean?
It's truly become the way of customer service to make sure everybody knows your inner thoughts. That's what I've noticed, especially if you go to certain schools where they're learning to do like hair and stuff.
Whoa.
Like they just, I don't know. It's a wild environment.
Marsha, would you be completely disappointed if everything went to like self-checkout?
Yeah, I wouldn't want complete self-checkout. I do like some places for self-checkout, but sometimes it's nice to interact with the people or whatever. But
it really does make your day when they're cool. You know what I mean? When they're like, hey, how's your day going? And you're like, oh my God, it's great. I just got off work. I don't have anything else going on. What are you doing for the weekend? Like when they're checking your stuff out but still having a conversation. That's good human interaction.
Yeah.
I get that. I don't want to lose all that.
Yeah.
How'd you sleep last night?
I slept okay last night.
You had all that hard work doing the chairs. I'm sure you were exhausted.
Yes, I was exhausted and my body needed some respite, but I need a new pillow for sure. I'm at that point.
So I did a couple of things. First off, about a week ago, and I wanted to beta test this before I even talked about it, because my daughter, her birthday was back in February. We got her an Oura Ring, and she really loves it. Basically just understanding your body's rhythms, its recovery, sleep. She's using it for everything. She really, really is taking full advantage of it, which is great to see when you spend that kind of money on something. But one of the things that she said she started doing, and she learned it from her roommate who is like a habitual snorer, is she started doing the mouth tape.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
And I started it about a week ago, and I have had the best sleep of my life.
Jeez, doesn't that hurt with your mustache?
No, because and that was one of the things when I started researching it. I wanted to make sure I got something that wasn't going to like be ripping my lips off in the morning or the hair off my face or anything like that. So my wife usually falls asleep before I do. So she really didn't know I was doing this until last night. She had kind of rolled over and I could hear her kind of get into her breathing and she wasn't, she was asleep and she got up to use the bathroom. And she sees me laying there kind of just watching TV fading out with this black tape across my mouth. She said, what the hell is that? And I'm like, well, I'm trying this out. I want to see if it works. And I feel like it's working. I have really no physical proof of it, but I feel better when I wake up in the morning, except for yesterday, because you know what my wife wanted to watch because she said it's the hottest thing on TV on Netflix. And we watched one episode. And you know how I can't watch stuff that's like deep or bad before I go to bed.
Oh my God,
like,
I love it.
All I ever watch is reruns of The Office or the billiard channel on Samsung TV.
You keep it light.
Like, I don't want to go to bed with any thoughts that are not great or funny or light thoughts in my head. For some reason, it sticks with me. But Adolescence, have you watched it?
So my mom told me that she started watching it and that we should watch it. So it's that 13-year-old. Is he framed?
Well, so that's just the first episode. You don't even know. she wanted to watch this, and I'd come home from baseball practice, and it had been a long day, so I just sat there and I did whatever she wanted. I didn't offer any resistance. And we watched the first episode, and I felt so horrible when I went to bed, and I woke up the next morning so worried about my kids, so worried about my family.
Jeez.
Like, it kicked in so bad.
So
And
maybe I don't want to watch it because anything that has to do with like that age, I got that age in my house. I don't know if I want to mind screw.
if you can get over the fact that it's a produced show for Netflix,
Yeah.
but I couldn't. I woke up worrying, and I don't worry. I don't worry. I'm a what happens kind of guy, and I've seen all the research that says 90% of the things you ever worry about won't ever come to fruition. But I woke up yesterday, and it took me my entire ride in to basically talk myself out of all these bad thoughts in my head. So I'm
It's
just wondering.
number one right now on
Yeah.
Netflix. Everybody says to watch it, but why would we be told to watch it? You know?
I don't know. People, I won't watch anymore. And there's like another episode that started.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I said, Trish, I'm going to bed. I can't watch this anymore. And she's like, yeah, I didn't really expect it to be like this.
So the one show that made me feel like that was Handmaid's Tale. It started just feeling really icky and really terrible.
But you kept watching.
I did keep up, but then I stopped. And I haven't started back up with it again. And thankfully Hulu has been canceled because I just can't have that feeling anymore.
For me, it was This Is Us. And it was such a good show, but it always ended on something bad. And I hated that. So I just wanted to ping you real quick as you're listening. Are you watching Adolescence on Netflix? Is there any reason to keep watching the second, third? I don't even know how many episodes there are. But I watched the first one, and as a father of a teenage kid, it just broke my heart. I don't know why, and I usually don't get the feels off of anything.
You're going to have to explain it off air because I'm okay with spoilers. So I need you to tell me what's in store because I don't know if I want to put myself through that.
If I were you, knowing how I reacted to it, there is no way I would watch it.
Wow.
If I were you.
I was going to watch it with Liam.
You having a 12-year-old kid, I would not watch this at all. But I
Is
just
it like
wanted
sexual assault?
I'll tell you off the air. I don't want to spoil it for everyone else. But if you're watching it, definitely hit me up real quick with a text or a phone call. 320-251-1047. Are you into this, and what's your mind frame? Because just as I started thinking about it when we were going to talk about it, I was like, my God, this show, I just don't think I can go back. But if you're into it, let me know how you think it's going to go down, or is there a reason to keep watching? This is the moment of the show where you're going to feel like no matter how hard you work, you will always be the poorest human being on the planet because Jeff Bezos and his hottie of a girlfriend / fiance are about to get married. What's the budget look like?
The budget is $10 million.
Jesus.
So if at all she has ever uttered the words, I don't know if I can do it for that,
What's her name, Lauren?
then we have a problem. Yeah, Lauren Sanchez. So they've been engaged for 2 years. And everyone's been like, when's the big day? And so finally he gave her the go ahead. They got a date and now they're planning it. They're going to also travel the world on his yacht.
Have you seen this thing, though?
Yeah, it's
Good.
a city.
It's
a city
I
on
think
the
it's
water.
the biggest private yacht on the planet.
Yeah. So her budget is $10 million. I'm sure yours is nowhere close because we're normal people. How much do you think from beginning to end your wedding cost?
I wouldn't even come close to it because when it went down, when these two monster families from Belle Plaine, Minnesota got together and decided we were going to get married, my dad and her dad went a long ways back. They knew each other from way back in the day. And when the engagement happened, I know my dad picked up the phone immediately. He said, Terry, it looks like the kids are getting married. You want to split it down the middle? And they said, yep. And then there was just no drama.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure kind of who took on most of the expenses, but my mom was very meticulous with keeping the books. So it was just split down the middle. And I really don't have any idea. I know my wife had certain things she wanted, like the candelabras at the church. And I think there was a couple of expenses we picked up as, getting married. Like I know we paid the priest, and I think we paid for the last keg at the reception because we have heavy drinking families and they went through a lot of drinks.
Yeah.
But I would say if I had to venture a guess, $10,000.
Well, I was just talking to my friend whose son just got engaged in Rome. How beautiful is that?
Nice.
And he came back and they literally, the fiance has started a spreadsheet. That's my girl. She started an Excel spreadsheet of everything that she wants. She started to price everything out. They're looking at probably a little over 15, I think.
I think that's
grand.
a humble wedding nowadays, right?
Do you? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the average is about 30,000. But
Well, what does it
Nina-
cost for a plate of food at a regular wedding venue? Let's just go. Let's say you go
I have
kind
no
of
clue.
top tier. Like let's say middle to top tier. It's got to be at least $30 a head, right? You're
30
probably
to
closer to
50?
50.
Yeah.
$50 a head at 300 people total is 15 grand right there.
Right.
Then you're talking limos, tuxes, dresses, drinks, church, pictures, everything else. I mean, I can see this getting to 30 grand pretty quick.
Yeah, probably. But I'd love for Nina to call in. She had texted and said $1,000 is her budget. Their friend is the
Ow.
officiant, doing it for free as his gift to them. Everyone is bringing a dish.
Wow.
So, Nina, I'm not judging you
I
at all,
don't
but
hate this, but people are going to crap all over it.
they will. And I wouldn't expect gifts from people if they feel like they have to already help with the food
What
or
dish
the
would-
aspect of why I would go. Like if I go, I'm paying $50 or more to the couple to accrue the cost of my food.
What would you make? What dish would you bring?
I don't know.
7-layer salad. I kill it.
You would?
Yeah.
I'd bring that thing they call a salad, but it's just like fluff and strawberries and Jello.
Ooh.
I'd really turn them
like
off.
a Snickers salad, but without the Snickers.
Yeah. So I want to know, like, who has the strictest? Nina might have the lowest right now, 1,000.
That's a really low number to get married. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the only how is it cheaper unless you just go to the JP and you get the certificate and you go back to work?
Yeah. What I didn't like is that we had a phone call, I think, last summer for a girl that was getting married. We were like, why does your Friday rock? And she said, my Friday rocks because I'm getting married tomorrow. So all day I'm going to be cooking my food and getting it ready. I'm like, a bride should not be doing that.
Maybe she
I know you're
loves it,
trying to
though.
cut corners, but
I would bet you, and again, I'm not judging, but I would bet they already have a family.
no bride I love would be doing that. I would be in the kitchen to help them make their stuff. Their
Would
meatballs.
you assume that if you already have a family, like you already got a kid or kids, you're probably doing it a lot cheaper than
Yeah, probably.
you're 22 and you're a dink?
Yeah. Kaylee, I'd love for you to call in because that's a modest budget, I would think. I'd love to know how you're cutting corners.
Imagine you wake up one morning wearing this huge ring. You're going to marry one of the 5 richest people on the planet. And he said, honey, let's give you your dream wedding. Here's $10 million. Spend it wisely.
That's
Like
pretty
you could go
incredible.
buck wild. But we thought, let's talk about a little bit more of a modest
Yeah.
situation. Shalisa, did you get married on a dime?
Yeah, I was a part of 3 weddings that were all over $40,000,
Whoa.
and I said no. So, besides the ring, my wedding was $1,000.
How'd you keep it so low?
It was in my backyard.
Okay.
I did all the food. I did the invites, and I borrowed a canopy from the in-laws.
Yeah.
Rented tables and chairs, and we
Why-
had a fire and beer when we were done.
So that sounds amazing, actually. But why did people let you make your own food? I would never be okay with knowing that the bride the next day had just spent all this time and effort making food.
I
You
bet
should've
you're an
been
amazing
relaxed.
cook. That's why, isn't it?
Actually, I went to Costco.
You went to Costco, you just bought a bunch of food, heated it up, and that was good enough for you and your wedding party.
Exactly.
God
Yep.
bless you.
That is what I did. It was $1,000.
And
And I bet you were just were you relaxed that day? Because that's how every bride should feel. Like you were just chill and going with the flow.
Yep, we didn't have a ceremony. We just signed in front of everybody. And then it started to rain, so I took off the dress that was my bridesmaid dress for my friend's wedding, which was $50.
Love
Yeah.
it.
And it started to rain, so I took that off, put on jeans and a sweatshirt, and we partied until it was time to go to bed.
And I only hear your face giving us fond memories, so that's great. As long as it turned out exactly how the bride and groom wanted it to turn out.
And I
that's
bet
all
you
that
got
matters.
0 complaints out of this deal because nobody else had to feel stuffy and like you had to follow a certain procedure and everything. Everyone was just happy, right?
Yep, it was great.
Bush lights around the campfire till everybody had to leave, and then you were like, let's go to bed. And you probably woke up in 2 days and went back to work, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Right? I like this. So for under $1,000.
Good job.
You guys still tell me you're still at least married, right? This wasn't the kiss of death?
No, we were engaged for 10 years, got married, and we're still married and had our first kid.
Oh, love it.
10 years? What took this guy so long? You sound like a catch.
Well, we were high school sweethearts, and, we had plans to get married a few different times, but life happened.
Yeah, I got you. All right, well, you're the leader in the clubhouse with $1,000. Thanks for calling.
Thanks.
Have a great morning. Did you get by with an amazing wedding? Fond memories for less than $1,000?
Getting Kaylee's photos, actually. It looks like a beautiful, classy wedding for under $5,000. She said that she spent $1,200 on her dress. That was the most expensive part. So everything else just kind of fell into place. Brittany ordered her flowers off Temu. So if you're going to order anything off that site, obviously order it 6 months in advance.
4 years in advance.
Yeah. And then I don't know who this is. 6348 says, got married at my mother-in-law's. Over 400 people and less than 13,000 people tell me how great it was.
Do you know 400 people?
I don't.
I mean, 400 people, even with your family?
That's a lot of.
400 is a lot of people.
Can so-and-so go? He knew the groom when he was 2 from the old neighborhood. That's those people that just can't say no. But as long as everybody had a good time,
13 grand is pretty decent.
Yeah.
Turning the corner, headed towards the weekend. Thursday is going to be a fun show in the Playhouse. Psychic Kim rejoins the show from 7:30 to 8. So if there's something you'd like to ask her, remember this is absolutely free. We've got it from 7:30 to 8 during the live show Thursday. And then right after that, we are going to try and put $50,000 in your pocket. So a couple of really fun reasons to get up with us live Thursday morning as we put a cap on the podcast now. This is actually kind of right up your alley if I'm reading this right. You get a new job and then start sleeping with everybody at work.
You looking at me?
Yeah.
Son, you looking at me?
Hold on. How many, when you took this job, tell me you haven't at least been with a couple of people at this
Here
job.
at this job?
Yep.
Just one. Well, and Derek. And I married Derek and have a kid with Derek. So
I
that
know,
doesn't even count.
But you were this far away as a fiance from moving to another part of the country with
very
the other guy
judged
here.
right now.
No. What if you go to a new job? And what if you hook up with someone there? Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? Everybody! Other people's problems. You got a little something going on in your life and you want some advice from our listeners. This is where you turn. Good morning to Ronald, who's joining our show. Again, we know just enough to know that this is a little bit of a snag in his life. So if we got this right, brand new job, right? Tell us what's happening.
Yeah, I met this cool girl who just started, and we hit it off the jump. I thought she was really cute, and I took her out, and things got spicy at the end of the date, and we did the deed.
Okay.
Come to find out, a few weeks later, she's been really sketchy, kind of dodging my calls sometimes late at night, and I found out that she was married.
Oh.
I'm like so confused on what to do because like I kind of vibed with this chick.
Yeah.
And now she has a whole life, and I'm like, do I tell her husband? Do I try to move forward?
Well, I think you stop dating her immediately, I think is the first thing you do, right?
I would ghost her. And that will send the message. Will it stop her from doing it again in the future? Probably not.
Yeah, but
she
that's
might be
not on
unhappy.
you.
Yeah, that's not on you. I think that when people cheat, you always go to the person that they cheated with and you're all mad and you want to fight them and stuff. But really, it's, her spouse should be mad at her, not you.
Yeah,
So-
well, yeah, right. I mean, if you go ahead and tell this guy, you're kind of ushering in some more drama. So I don't know if that's your place to do it. So, geez, here's what I'm willing to bet somebody else has been through this and they can offer us some suggestions right now. So let's turn it over to our listeners and we'll see what they have to say. In the meantime, yeah, I think Kat's right. I think you ghost the hell out of this girl.
Thanks.
Come here, you take this job, and one of the guys that works here. You guys start dating, you hook up, and you find out he's got a wife.
Mm-hmm.
What's your move?
You just got to stop. Like, you have to preserve your own self-respect.
But it's not
in
your
that sense.
place to go tell her?
I don't know. I would probably encourage him to let her know, like, hey, this is probably a bad move. I did this. Will he end up doing it? I don't know. But it's no longer your business because you saw your way out.
You didn't know that it was wrong, but when you found out it was wrong, you put the brakes on, and then you're just done with all of it.
Sometimes you could leave it to somebody else. Sometimes if you give enough information to maybe another coworker that likes to talk to people, sometimes it will just do its thing, So maybe you do that and see if it gets back to her.
Have you been through anything like this? If so, how did you... God, did you keep going with it? Did you end it? How did it end? That's what I want to know, okay? 320-251-1047. Your advice for Ronald. Again, he's got this job, new girl starts, they end up hooking up, find out a couple weeks later that she's got a husband.
I've always thought it was a weird reaction to get so mad at the other person rather than your partner.
Knew, right?
If they knew that this guy was married, or if he knew that she was married and he still was like, let's get a hotel room, yes, that is a problem.
Then I'm into ass kicking.
That's a character problem. That's a character flaw.
If you didn't know, how do you handle this moving forward? And you still got to work with this girl. What would your advice be? 320-251-1047. You should call now. We learned a couple of seconds ago that Kat is a hard no on the surprise birthday party.
Yeah, it's just not my thing. I don't like to, and contrary to popular belief, I do not enjoy having the moment. I would love to give somebody a surprise birthday. I would love to be a part of their joy, but I do not. It would not be joyful.
I don't mind the birthday party when it's planned and I know what's happening, right? My parents threw me one for my 16th birthday. And I came downstairs, and our downstairs was packed with people. And a friend jumped out to go, "Hey, surprise!" And I almost knocked her out.
Yeah,
like I had been in that mode where I literally was maybe inches away from punching her teeth out because she scared me so bad, and I wasn't ready for it. So, with all this said, I don't know how you feel about a surprise birthday party, but I want to bring Preston on the show, and I appreciate you taking time for us. Let's start with who's causing the drama here.
Yeah, it's my older sister. I love her. She's a little bit more of an introverted kind of person for sure. But I think that we are going to be celebrating my wife's birthday happening here in a bit. My wife's turning 40.
Okay.
And basically, she's always been, anytime we celebrate, we go out on dates. We like to keep it kind of small. And she and I, for both of our birthdays. Like, I've had a couple parties that were pretty big, and they were fun, but, she just hung out in the corner most of the time. For her birthday, it's normally like her and me, or even sometimes it's just been her on a solo trip.
Huh.
Anyways, the reason I'm calling is my sister, she really wants to throw a huge party. And I'm not talking like 20 people. I'm not talking like 30. I'm talking like 100 people. Ooh. It's a little bit crazy. Yeah, and I know that my wife typically hates this kind of stuff. Again, introverted, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. 40's big, and there is something about wanting to do something big. But, history speaks that she hates big parties, right?
Yeah.
History speaks that she likes to kind of keep to herself. But I really do think, and maybe my sister's just convincing me on this one, but, I really do think that my wife could have a great time with a huge party.
But does your sister have to live with your wife?
Yeah, good
because
call.
I am going to be honest with you. If my husband, and I've had these conversations with him, ever surprised me with a surprise party, I would feel so upset. It's like all of these conversations were for nothing. This would make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, but when it's all over, it's about making memories. Like, you would have a good time.
What if she has just bad memories about this, and that's how she started her era of 40? I don't agree with your sister.
No, it's only 10 years to 50 then. We have a fellow that works in the building here at the Mighty Broadcast Network, and found out this morning that he had been saving up all his Dave and Buster's tickets to try and get a Roomba, and he's probably not going to get there because it's like 800,000 tickets.
Yeah, but I wasn't surprised, not one bit.
Need some free summer fun? Then get to Dave & Buster's, because the Summer of Games is back with more new games than ever. And
now,
for a limited time, you can play 5 of the hottest new games.
He's on the edge of his seat when this commercial comes on, in case there's deals that he needs to know about. I've never been to a Dave & Buster's.
Ever?
No.
Oh, my God.
So it's an adult arcade place?
It's so awesome.
Okay. I hear the food is really good.
I've gone mostly with when our kids would have like a baseball tournament or a hockey tournament or whatever, and you'd have some downtime, especially like you play really early on a Saturday morning and they don't have a game till like you're under the lights that night and you got to occupy a bunch of 12-year-olds, take them to Dave & Buster's. Mom and dad can have a meal and a beer, and then the kids will get their little credit card and they go into all the machines and they play.
Yeah.
But here was the deal. I was starting, as soon as he said, I was saving up all my Dave & Buster's certificates. I was trying to get a Roomba. I was just like, no, nobody walks into Dave & Buster's with the intent of ending up with a giant prize. He had been saving them.
But how much did he say?
It was like 80,000 tickets to get a Roomba or something like that.
Okay, so 300 chips to play games, $50. So the math already doesn't add up because if you go to Amazon.
But if you're really a good player at these games, you could get like 200 tickets.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you could drop in your 50 cents or your $1 to play this game. And then if you're, listen, I'm not telling you how to cheat on this, but as the tickets are coming out, if you put a little extra tension on them while you're pulling them out, sometimes they just keep coming and coming and coming. So you can get like 300, 400, 500 tickets. But he had been saving for months. All the times he and his family had gone to Dave & Buster's.
And instead, he used his tickets for one of these weird lights that we have in the studio already for his basement. Like he's a 17-year-old high school student that games all day. And the choices this guy makes are very weird. Because I'm on Amazon right now. You can have it at your house by Saturday. $129, you're good to go. You don't ever have to long for a Roomba ever again.
Now, some people are a little bit more fiscally savvy than others. For me, I'm going to spend $150 taking my kids to Dave & Buster's anyways.
So do you think it's the hunt for him?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the thrill of getting the tickets. Now, you're doing the little basketball shoots or skee ball, you might end up with 15, 20 tickets, right? So you can get a finger trap or an eraser or another one of those puffy balls with all the knobs on it that there's probably 300 around your house already. Or you could have the discipline to pocket those and then keep them in a baggie in your car until the next time you go. And then the next, you know how they, by the way, if you've got a bunch of them, you know how they count them? They weigh them.
Do they really?
They put them on a little scale, and that's how you know how many tickets you got.
You know how much money I spent for a fidget spinner the other day? $30 when we were at the
Those
the
are
water
still
park.
a thing?
Yeah. $30.
I got like 3 of those on my desk.
And there was like a sour apple Tootsie Roll he got for $30. I could not believe it.
I just wanted to hunt real quick out of everyone listening. Who's ended up going home with the biggest prize from a Dave & Buster's or a Chuck E. Cheese or, you know what I'm talking about. You got a little food, you got a couple of drinks, you got all these arcade games. You end up getting tickets or points back on your card. The tickets are ridiculous now because you should just put that card in while you're playing. It'll take your $1 out, and then whatever you win, you're playing Mario Kart, right? Like you finish first, maybe you get 50 points. Like take those points, walk up to that counter with that person that looks agonized to be there.
Yeah.
And then they run it and they go, all right, you got 700 points. What do you want? And you point at the wall and you'll be like, I'll take the Justin Bieber baby photo.
Yeah.
You know, like what do you want? So who's really left one of these adult arcades with the biggest prize? I mean, a Roomba you'd look like Superman walking out of there with a new Roomba.
Bingo! How fun!
Last week, someone lost an eye at bingo.
Bingo! Bingo what bingo? Bingo! Bingo!
All right, listener bingo, always a lot of fun. Are you somebody listening who
has ever had to wear an ankle monitor? So this female offender decided to show that maybe she has a way
Is this the hot one from Alabama?
Beat the ankle. What do you mean?
The really hot one on the internet from Alabama?
I don't think she was punished like that, right? But she was
should be
hot.
punished.
Man, that sorority girl, yeah. Anyway, so this girl, she shows that maybe a little tinfoil can help you get away with just about anything.
How long can you wear your ankle monitor in public until you get caught? Well, we're going to find that out right now. I'm going to be wrapping the tinfoil around my ankle. That way, it blocks out the signal so I can't be tracked.
I'm about to walk outside right now. Let's do this. It's working.
All right, guys, I'm about to go to the mall. Let's go shopping! I just left the mall. It's been 25 minutes. Now let's go get some food. Just finished my food. It's been an hour. Now I'm going to go get my toes done.
Hello? I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I think it's glitching.
Wait.
Busted getting a pedicure.
My favorite part of that is you sit down at the foot bath and you roll your pant leg up and they're like, oh, what?
If you didn't think they were talking about you before, they are definitely talking about you then if you can't get one of your ankles wet. But you have had an ankle monitor for a certain amount of time. What?
Remember me telling you about that guy at the gym That was like this dude was a meth head and had the. I
That
mean,
is
but
alleged.
no. This guy, I've seen roid rage really, really up close with a lot of different people, way beyond roid rage.
Okay.
This guy was doing bath salts or meth or something like that. But he would ask the weirdest questions to people at the gym, and I would stay on the other side of the gym. After I noticed that ankle monitor, I'm like, this guy's unstable.
Yeah.
So you're looking for anyone listening
Who has ever had an ankle monitor?
I'm looking for anyone listening who is a first-generation American. Mom and dad came from somewhere else. You were the first one in your family born in this amazing country.
Yeah.
How is that going? You know what I mean?
A lot of expectations.
I would think, but then you also want to carry on probably a lot of the heritage that mom and dad brought over here, right? You don't want to lose that. Like, you don't want to get too homogenized. Morning, Isaiah. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
We're great. Thanks for calling. Which one do you fit, brother?
I've had an ankle monitor.
There it is. There it is. We have
All right.
so many questions for you.
So, what was it for? Can you tell us without telling us too much?
A little bit. Let's just say it was in my high school years.
Okay.
I wasn't too proud of it. I did it to a local school.
Oh.
Got it.
I'm going to say that.
Okay.
And they didn't do too harsh of a punishment, but I have had to try to hide it with a sock. Didn't work out too well. Everybody knew.
So, how long did you have it on?
I want to say about for 6 months.
6 months, and you couldn't really leave the house.
Yeah, what were
without-
the parameters with that?
I couldn't leave my front door.
Only to go to school?
You couldn't go get the mail?
I couldn't even go get the mail. I couldn't let my dog out. I had a call, and I had to give them updates if I'm going to be late.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It kind of made me more imprisoned.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the house arrest.
Now, do you, I know you didn't want to get too specific, but do you feel the punishment fit the crime?
I do. I really do.
Are you old enough now where this is off your record, or is this something that's going to hang with you for a while?
Yeah, this is off my record. It was something me and the courts we had talked about, and we're like, as long as you do what you need to do on probation, we're not going to put it on your record.
You know, I bet, well, this is growth, what I hear from you, because you're like, I bet back in the day as a teen, you're like, this is not fair. This is crazy, you know? And now as an adult, you're like, wow, it was a pretty stupid thing I did.
Well, even when I was a teen, I was like, yeah, it was stupid what I'd done. I wish I would have thought through it more.
Okay.
So a couple more questions. Number one, do you shower with that thing on? Can you take a
you
bath?
can shower with it on.
Yeah, you shower with it on. You got to put like a garbage bag over it. And
So it's like you have a cast, all right. And then the other thing,
pretty much.
how often do you have to charge that thing up? Or does the battery last all 6 months?
I think I had to charge it once.
Okay. So it lasts for quite a while. And does it chafe? Like, was your ankle hurting after a while? Was it like tight?
Yeah, it was actually hurting for quite some time.
So not only did you have
it's
the
just-
mental anguish of this, but your leg hurt for a while.
Yeah.
Could you say that again?
I said not only do you have the mental anguish of not being able to let your dog out, but like your ankle was hurting the whole time. And all right, so I bet just a freeing feeling when you finally got that off, huh?
Oh yeah, I was like, I felt free. I felt I could run.
Yeah. Then you're like, don't take freedom for granted. I'm glad you called. I did not expect to win this round of bingo, but I'm glad you called because I can hear it that you're like, wow, it was super stupid.
Now, if you had to commit a crime again, I'm not saying you should, but let's say you could rob either Kat or myself.
You always come up with just the dumbest
You would
scenario.
break into whose house?
Oh, well, that's a tough one.
JJ loves to shop, so go to his house. He has like really nice stuff.
I have nothing.
He
I
has
have
a golf
nothing a guy like you would want.
Wow.
He has
Nothing-
a pontoon.
Nothing like a guy like you would want, man. And Kat's got new chairs that are almost put together. You could steal those.
You can only steal 2 right now. Unless you wait until Friday, then you'll have 6.
Nonetheless, thanks for calling, man. I hope you have a great morning.
You
Yeah.
These chairs. Can somebody go to Kat's house while she's on the air right now?
I don't need nobody.
Put together
I don't
her
need
chairs
anybody
so she
to do
quits
it.
about all these chairs.
You know how proud I'm going to feel by Saturday morning when I have my shelf put together, my whole dining room set
You're
together.
putting together a
because
whole shelf?
I'm putting together. Yeah, I bought a brand new shelf, and it's like a 5-tier. Okay, and it has like doors.
How many parts are going to be missing from that when you're done?
I don't know. It's going to look like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, probably.
Like when your kid did this in 7th grade, shop class, and you had to tell them you were so proud of it, even though it looked like Stevie Wonder put it together.
Listen, I'll do it. Follow my journey on socials because it's going to wow you.
My journey of putting together a bunch of chairs I got in the mail.